What is up? It is October 12th, Monday. Not the way we want to come to you, but you know who it is. Your allies behind enemy lines, Ryan and Joey, a couple Washington football fans coming to you thoroughly behind enemy lines, holding it down for you in Cowboys territory, bringing out the latest news, notes, highlights, all that good stuff. Coming in and out of Washington, trying to hold it down for all our contingency that might be behind enemy lines as well. But Joey, how are you doing, man? Like I said, not the way we want to be coming to you. A little bit of a butt kicking, some good things, bad things, but all in all, how you doing, bub?
I'm doing all right, but I mean, I still call it a W. The record says L for sure because the team did lose. The dude lose. But seeing Alex Smith on the field yesterday, it totally and watching him take 6 sacks, and that sounds terrible, but to me it was like great because that means he can take 6 sacks in a game and still get up and not be broken. So I mean, it was like the best case scenario in that aspect as far as him, because not only if he would have came in there and not got hit once, we would never really know that he probably wouldn't know himself. But when you got Aaron Donald on your back on the third play of your game, giving a piggyback ride, I felt pretty good about it, man. So I'm pretty happy about that. So I'm doing all right.
All right, well that's good. Yeah. We'll jump right into it. Obviously, hopefully you're listening to us on Apple, iTunes. If you are, like, rate, subscribe, review. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and ring that bell. Let's jump right into it. Yeah, we got the full effect. We talked about it on Friday. How you were ready, on Friday, how you were ready to see Alex Smith. I wasn't quite ready. I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, we had no other choice because Dwayne he was going to be inactive. He ended up coming up sick, which I'm staying a little woke on that he came up sick game day and had an upset stomach. But obviously Kyle Allen goes down with the injury early. So they got to do what they got to do, and they bring in Alex Smith. And obviously that was, they thought that there might be a possibility, and that's the reason why they had him as a second string and active versus Dwayne. But yeah, I think it was a little, I'm still not super sold on it. The fact that he was giving Aaron Donald a piggyback ride, I think was a good sign. Even Aaron Donald, he was caught on camera saying that motherfucking leg's strong. And because he knew he put all 280 pounds or whatever the hell he is, 300 pounds on Alex Smith's back, and it held up. It looked a little suspect there at the beginning when he first went on the field. It looked like there was a little bit of a limp and a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up, which made me again a little bit more nervous. But he definitely took a beating. He withstood it. Obviously, with getting sacked 6 times, and he threw the ball 17 times, 9 of 17. It's tough to get a good read on where he actually is and in his recovery or things like that. But if it was something, you might not say good, might not say bad, but definitely was something. And I don't want to cut you off there because it sounded like you had a thought, but we talked about how if we were a balanced offense, how good we would be, and he didn't get that opportunity because when he came in, we were already down, so we don't have the opportunity to see him being, running the offense to its full capacity because he was in pass mode. I don't think we got the full Alex Smith experience, but we did get a little taste of it.
Yeah, we did get a little taste of it. Not to mention the weather. It was when he came in, it started pouring rain too. I'm not making an excuse for him. Him coming on the field and him being able to take those hits, and I mean that one where he did a spin move. He hit the zero on the on the PlayStation controller, hit the spin move on the linebacker, and I was like, when he hit the spinneroonie, I was like, Alex Smith is back. I mean, as far as health, as far as health, Alex Smith can play. You know what I mean? I don't mean as far as he's going to go out there and perform the way he can perform. But I'm saying as far as being an able-bodied person that can be on the field and take hits and do moves, Alex Smith is back and can compete. As far as getting his mechanics, getting his feet wet, as far as, getting connection with the wide receivers, getting comfortable with the offense, getting comfortable with running an offense in a football situation, that's to be determined down the line. But as far as being healthy enough to be on a football field and make me feel comfortable about having him in there, as far as not cringing every time he got hit, I think that part passed in me by the time the game was over. So I think a huge W there for him. As you said, some not happen, but how we probably ideally would like to see it happen. We wanted to see Kyle Allen get a chance out there to really run the offense. I think, that drive where he took us down the field and ran in. I mean, again, I texted you. You're not going to see Dwayne Haskins with that kind of speed and with that kind of athleticism to be able to move. And that really inspired some confidence in me, that he could. And then picking up, that first down that he was going for him where he took the hit, that tells you the kind of quarterback that's out there to win. That's the last we saw of him. And I'm glad, that, obviously we did get the victory of having Alex Smith go in there, the mental, whatever, moral victory you want to call. But having Kyle Allen go out there and perform the way he did and show the drive and the the ability to command that offense, getting that drive down the field, I think it inspires confidence for a start this next week.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, absolutely won't discredit that. I think Kyle Allen had a great showing. I think if it isn't going to be Dwayne Smith or Dwayne Haskins, it does need to be Kyle Allen right now. I'm not super comfortable with Alex Smith being back there just yet. I know, that, and that's going to be my stance right now until I can kind of see a little bit of something. And we did see that. We did see a little bit of something, but I need a little bit more just to instill my full confidence. I mean, he completed 9 passes for 37 yards. That's an average of 2 yards a pass. So, I mean, that's
about Alex Smith's numbers. If you think about it, that's about par for the course as far as his career. I mean,
yeah, I know, and that's what's. I mean, it's funny, but it's true kind of too. I mean, he always gets crap for check down on Charlie, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if he's running this offense from kickoff to when the clock says double zeros on it, I'd probably be okay with it because that means we're probably moving the ball a little bit. You're going to have a couple of drives where it's 3rd and 8 and he checks down to the 5-yard out to the running back and we end up getting 4th down and got to punt it. But he's not going to throw it the other way or, throw it downfield and chance it going the other way. So you take the good with that with the bad with Alex Smith. I did like what I saw with Kyle Allen early. He was taking those big chances. He threw a couple of good balls deep that weren't caught, but still showed the ability to cut it loose. Like I said, the mobileness with the mobility, I probably should say, with the feet and scoring that touchdown. The first down, he took a big lick, and he just got up and he kept on ticking. So I did like some stuff that I saw from Kyle Allen. And like I said last week, I kind of knew when he got signed that Dwayne should have been looking over his shoulder and that at any hesitancy or any false step of Dwayne's, we're going to see Kyle Allen. But it sounds like it was more than just a false step and kind of many false steps. Before I get into that real quick, right before you went into your explanation and your kind of breakdown of what you saw from Alex Smith, did you call it the 0 button on PlayStation? I mean, that is lunacy. It is hands down the circle button. The 0 button is wild. If anybody that was listening to this and heard him call it 0 button and agreed with you, that is pre-crime, and that was just absolutely it kind of took me back for a second. Like, did he just call that the 0 button?
Because
100% the circle button.
I'll tell you exactly what happened right there. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Well, first and foremost, whenever they use that reference in sports nowadays, whenever they talk about that, they're always talking about Xbox controllers. They're never referencing exactly. So they're talking about the B, hitting B. So I was trying. I was trying to translate it from to PlayStation because that's what I play on, and so I was thinking, it's not. And that's always my my mind said it's not letters. It went to numbers for some reason. So instead of just shapes, it went to numbers, and I said 0 instead of circle. So in my defense, I was trying. That's exactly where my mind went. I was just trying to translate the common Xbox controller to a less-known PlayStation. I don't know why I did that, but
yeah, that really caught me off guard. And I was thinking about it the whole time you were talking. Like I was definitely concentrating on what you were saying, but at the same time, I was like, there's no way he calls out the 0 button on the regular. Like that's got to be
the circle.
It had to have been
circle.
It had to have been a false, a little misstep there. But getting back on track, leading up to this game, we talked last week, obviously, about Dwayne Haskins being demoted all the way to 3rd string, and there was talk of he was boasting about his stats after last week's loss, about how he tore it up, this and that. And you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, as soon as we were done recording, the story came out that after he was named starter and got the captaincy and all that stuff, all that hard work that he had put in, he just kind of kicked back, relaxed, put his hands up and his feet up and said, all right, this is my team, and just stopped working. And even though Kyle Allen was the backup, he was showing up first. Alex Smith was showing up before him. They were staying late. They were putting time in the playbook, things like that. All the stuff that Dwayne Haskins was doing right leading up to the job. But as soon as he got it, just got complacent. Why? I don't know, because it's not like he was, running that offense with his eyes closed. I mean, it looked like he was, but it looked like he was running that offense with his eyes closed.
Maybe he was.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like he was putting on prolific performances. And so you hit the nail on the head, because you said you wouldn't be surprised if it was just complacency. And that seems to be exactly what it was. And it rubbed his teammates the wrong way when he was bouncing, celebrating his stats from last week after they did put up another lackluster performance. And so that had a lot to do with it, pissed off a lot of his teammates. And so remember, I said if Ron Rivera doesn't hold his players accountable, he might lose that locker room, and that looks like that's exactly what he did. So good on Ron Rivera for noticing that and putting the right guy in the right position, somebody that's working hard, and it seems like somebody that the team can trust. They know they can trust. But that's the biggest thing with the NFL. Guys want to be able to know that they can trust you. It's not enough that they just trust you. They have to know that they can. And I think with Kyle Allen, they're getting that a little bit. Until Dwayne shows that he can be trusted, it's not going to be his team. And they also left the door open, saying that they're not abandoning him completely. He's just kind of putting him in timeout for a little bit to learn his lesson, which I think is great on Ron Rivera. Another great move on his part.
And that's any way, any leader, any coach. You're a coach. I'm a teacher. I work with kids. I've done it for a long time. And that's what you do. You know what I mean? In that situation, to me, I've always agreed with that philosophy. You see how people react. You take things away from them and you see how they react. Some of them are going to be like, dang it, it's a wake-up call for them. And man, I was messing up. I'm sorry I did that, coach, and I'm right back on the horse. And then some of them are going to be like, nah. And they sit there like we talked about with his arms crossed in the outfield when they're putting me on, or do that kind of stuff. And, either of them is a teaching moment. You know what I mean? Either one of them you can make a teaching moment. And one of them probably going to be he's not going to get his job at the teaching moment. For this one, he won't be a Redskin or a Washington football team player anymore. But or he can learn to work hard and get that back. But first and foremost, before we get any further than that, you said on Friday after we talked that you were not agreeing with the Dwayne Haskins move. And now that more of this stuff has come out, what's your stance on that?
I mean, I think I think I totally stand by the decision. For sure. Without knowing that stuff that was going on behind the scenes, I still thought it was too early to pull the trigger on him and get him out of there.
Just performance based.
Right, performance based, yeah, for sure. But when you put in all that extra stuff that's going on behind the scenes, going on in the locker room that we might not always see or know, I stand by that decision 1,000 trillion %. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, the coach has to make sure that he has the rest of the team buying into him, and in order for that to happen, he's got to make sure that he's putting everybody in a position for the rest of the team to buy into them. You know what I mean? So it's great. I love that about the NFL, especially. Like I said, everyone holds each other accountable, and that's what makes the ultimate team, is guys being able to know that they can trust each other in certain spots. And when you can't trust the players in the spot, and they keep getting put out there over and over and over again, guess who you can't trust after that? The coaching staff.
Coaches, exactly.
Yeah. So then it just starts crumbling from there. And so I think it was the perfect move and the right move for Ron Rivera to go to Kyle Allen if Dwayne wasn't doing that and holding up his side of the bargain.
And with that being said, moving forward, we know that Kyle Allen is going to get a shot again, being next week, and Alex Smith, I'm sure, is going to be the number 2 going into that. But it's been rumored a lot that now that the only safe way to get rid is to trade Dwayne Haskins. That the only way to for our franchise to kind of gain some kind of compensation back for going out, for already losing our first round pick, and for his sake, I think on his end of it, he wants to, a reset, a start over. You know what I mean? Go somewhere else. So, what does that look like? Is there, we just saw. I mean, I don't want to get all over the place because we can talk about the whole NFL, all the craziness that constantly goes on. But we saw a division rival lose their quarterback yesterday with a very gruesome injury. What irony. That the day that one of them comes back.
Alex Smith is coming back, right?
That one of them, the football gods were watching and they wanted them another sacrifice. And, it's terrible. You hate to see that. As much as we despise and talk about being behind enemy lines, we are allies to the human race and to competitive people, and we don't want to see that happen to anybody. So our thoughts and prayers go out to him, and hoping he can get back and catch on somewhere or fulfill his career. And hopefully this isn't the last we hear of Dak Prescott. But do the Cowboys become a trade partner? You know what I mean? Does Mike McCarthy see somebody? I think what I heard, this morning was that all the teams go into watching tape mode again. They go back to saying, the ones that were looking at him before the draft that really haven't got a good sample size now in the NFL, they're going to start looking like that and kind of place a gauge and a value on what Dwayne Haskins can pull. And, based upon that, we can kind of see if that's like something we want to do and move forward.
Yeah, when I saw those reports of that parting of the ways was pretty imminent for Dwayne Haskins in Washington, I was shocked. I mean, the fact that he could go from our starting quarterback, our captain, and in a week now we're getting rid of him. Our 15th overall pick, a top round pick, to starter to captain, and now we're just going to cut him loose and trade him. That blew my mind. I think that again is a little premature. Let's see how he reacts to this benching. Let's see if he puts the work in. But at the same time, we don't see a lot of big trades like this in the NFL. So I think because a lot of teams know if guys are available via trade and nobody makes a trade, well, guess what the team's going to do? Just release them and cut them. And so, that's why we don't see that happen a lot, and a guy like Dwayne Haskins, who is very unproven, and even if, I guess something is better than nothing, but if we do make a trade for him, I don't know how much return we're going to get, even though he's a first-round pick. We saw like Josh Rosen after he was drafted first overall.
Second. They got a second.
Oh, did they get a second-round pick?
They got a second for him. I'd be happy with a second.
Oh, I would be ecstatic with the second. I think third is probably the ceiling, and then anything after that is probably justifiable.
And I look at teams, not to cut you off there real quick, but with a lot of extra picks right now, and maybe need a quarterback and don't know anything. And one team jumps right into my head right away, and that's the New York Jets. They have a ton of picks.
They do, but if we can if we want to swap Darnold for Haskins,
I'll take that all day.
If they did that, oh my God, are you kidding me? Yeah, absolutely. Give me Darnold for Haskins, sure, absolutely.
Would you give another pick?
It'd have to be like a sixth or maybe a fifth. I'm not going to give anything top back for Darnold.
A number 2 overall selection just 3 years ago.
Yeah, no, I know. And I think he has, especially that, what was it, the Thursday night game where he busted off that long run, was like 74 yards or something like that. Like that really showed me like this dude's an athlete and he can ball. He just literally has nobody around him.
Nobody. Yeah. They show every week, on Good Morning Football. Every week, I know the crew's a big fan of him. They show him throws that he makes, like Mahomes-esque. Just getting out of the pocket, going one way, throwing dots on the sideline, toe drag, swag on the other. Like Sam Darnold. What did he do to us last year? He destroyed us last year. I think he had like 3 touchdowns no interceptions or something like that. We know what he has in there if he has anybody around him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so I would absolutely take that trade, but that's the thing too. A lot of teams all around the league. Maybe, as funny as it'd be, trade him to the Jaguars. Go reunite him with Jay Gruden. I don't think Jay Gruden would want that because he wanted Daniel Jones. But maybe the 49ers, because I think Jimmy G's probably gone after this year unless they want to keep Nick Mullins around. Those are the only teams that come off the top of my head that really, really need a quarterback. Maybe if you're the Steelers, you want to keep, want to put Dwayne Haskins and have him learn behind Ben Roethlisberger for a little bit. But
Colts the same way.
Well, they kind of have a Dwayne Haskins, watered down with Jacoby Brissett, and that's not just because they're 2 black quarterbacks. That's not it. Like they they're both a little mobile, not a whole lot, but they have rifle arms, are prone to overthrows, prone to bad mistakes, but also can make some really good throws.
But I think Brissett, you already know pretty much what you're getting in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't think Haskins has shown that yet. Excuse me. That was my allergy bugs.
Yeah, but so that's those are kind of the teams that come to mind right off the top of the bat of if we're going to make a trade. Like you said, the Cowboys, but I find it hard to believe that we're going to be able to that we're going to trade with a division rival, or B, that they would want Dwayne Haskins. It was funny, now that we're on that topic. My wife and I were talking yesterday because she's obviously a big Cowboys fan. She's born and raised here in Dallas, and I was like, it'd be crazy, and I'd be okay with this happening, is if the Cowboys decide not to franchise Dak. They decide not to bring him back because of this injury. I said I'd be willing to bring him on for between 20 and 30 million for kind of show me contract, maybe like a 2-year deal, mutual option or team option for that second year, and pay him a good chunk of change for 1 year, see what he's got, and then ride with him if we like what we see. I mean, I'd take that for 100%.
I would too, and I would think more along the lines of the Drew Brees when he came back after that shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
And probably go. I mean, obviously it was a long time ago, and numbers have changed, but kind of similar to the contract he got. In New Orleans, where it was I think it was just a 1 or 2 year deal initially. With a lot of incentives in it.
Yeah, incentive laden. Yep.
Incentive laden, so that then basically after he showed that his shoulder wasn't destroyed, how Nick Saban thought it was, that then they gave him the bag, and I think that could easily happen with another team that does, and I would. His leg got hurt. Dak Prescott. We know for one thing, we know the type of competitor he is. That's it. He's a guy. To me, he reminds me a lot of Matt Stafford. He'll drag his leg down the field if he had to, and score that touchdown. So I wouldn't be opposed to that either. As far as what we have, it's funny. As we think about it, I mean, it's the complete turmoil of our team right now is this quarterback position. It's hard to look forward. It's hard it's hard to look back at this game. I mean, the Rams, it was just a quarterback situation. After that, it's just like blitz Alex Smith every game. But every down. But what is it going to do? A lot of people are going to be calling for Ron's head here pretty soon if we can't get it figured out. We have such a fan base. I mean, I'm sure you follow all the different chats and all that stuff. Everybody's ready to. So Haskins was the problem, right? And they flash up, Kyle Allen and Alex Smith's numbers from yesterday, and it's like, all right, again, we're comparing apples and oranges here. We're talking about two guys that worked very hard and one guy that didn't work very hard. So that's the difference right there. But moving forward, having Kyle Allen there, and again, we can't, I guess, look too far ahead until we still see what we have in house as far as Kyle Allen. We probably know he's not our future. We probably know he's not our franchise. But again, do we need to go? I mean, is there going to be somebody available elsewhere before the trade deadline? Would we have to make a move now? Because I don't think drafting another quarterback is our answer. I just don't think that we can go that route again. I think we're going to have to find, like you said, a free agent like Sam Darnold, not Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want him, but somebody like that's in the NFL that's either halfway through their career or just about to sign that next contract that we can get a couple good years out of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what the relationship is like, but if we remember, Cam Newton's only on a 1-year deal, no options. He's a free agent at the end of the year. I don't know what that relationship is like with him and Ron. That's one place we can look. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Winning week 1 was probably the worst thing we could have done. We are not a team that's built to win right now. We have an wide receiver, one singular wide receiver, wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. That's it. I mean, he's a star.
And I say, not to mention the defense that got shredded up yesterday by a subpar offense. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I mean. That secondary is not built to win right now. We have some pieces. But until we can put it together, I don't know why fans think that we're gonna win. It's ridiculous. Like I said this last week. Everyone wants to rebuild until it's time to rebuild, and then they can't go through the growing pains of losing. Would I like to be a little more competitive in these losses? Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. But with all these, this revolving door at quarterback, I mean, it's week 5 and we're on 3 quarterbacks now, right? I mean, there's nobody else that's doing that. So it's this team is not built to win. So anybody that's calling for Ron Rivera's head, first of all, you're an idiot. Second of all, stop being a fan because you're obviously not. Give Ron Rivera some time. Let him turn over this roster a little bit. Let him get a few guys in here. We have, like I said, we have some pieces. I think Antonio Gibson's the real deal. Terry McLaurin is obviously the real deal. We need to fix up and shore up that O-line. Wes Schweitzer looks like he can be a guy. Gerard Christian does not look like he's a guy. Morgan Moses is getting too old. I think when you bring back Scherf, I like Roulier as our center. So we have some pieces. Obviously, we know that front 7, when healthy, is probably the best in the league. But until we can, add a middle linebacker, maybe add a couple pieces with with Kendall Fuller and Landon Collins in the secondary. This team is not built to win right now. So there's plenty more that we need to do. Quarterback is going to be a big part of this. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to drafting another guy. I would not be opposed to it, especially if that guy's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I have.
Well, I mean, we're not getting Trevor Lawrence, Ryan. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that.
You never know. You never know.
I do know. How many years have I been a Washington fan? We're not going to get Trevor. Those things don't happen to Washington fans. They do crazy stuff.
I know. Guy can dream, though, right? I know. Guy can dream. Yeah. No. The biggest name coming out right now is the dude from North Dakota State. His name slips my mind right now. I'll get our
Justin
stats
Fields?
team on it. What's that?
Justin Fields?
No, that's Ohio State.
But that's the other big name too. There's another one coming out, right?
Gosh, I know everyone's probably.
You know what's funny too, as you're thinking about that or looking it up real fast, when you're talking about the tight ends about the Rams when we're doing the preview, though, they do have another tight end. I was all Gerald Everett. They have another one. It's like the first two passes of the game are like 220-yard. I was like, now Ryan knows why I was talking about Gerald Everett.
No, I knew it was Gerald, and I meant to go back and correct myself and say, I don't know who I was talking about, but I mean, I knew it was Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee. But I thought there was one other guy, but I went to go back and correct myself, and there wasn't. Trey Lance, quarterback from North Dakota. He only got to play one game because North Dakota State wasn't playing. But he's kind of a mobile guy, can sling a little bit. Those
northern quarterbacks are usually big old Carson Wentz bully types that can kind of get around. So who
he can
knows?
play in cold weather, things like that. So I wouldn't be opposed to if it's. And there's no such thing as a sure thing. You look at quarterbacks across the NFL. Right now, the majority of them aren't first-round picks, especially the good ones. I mean, obviously, you have your Lamar Jacksons and your Patrick Mahomes, but there's plenty of other quarterbacks, your Russell Wilsons. I don't want to throw Kirk Cousins in there because we saw what performance he had last night. But, there's plenty of other quarterbacks that are good, that are in those third, fourth, fifth-round picks. So I don't know. I don't know what direction we go with quarterback. We ride Kyle Allen for now. Like I said, if Cam Newton, if he wants to come around, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But then again, how many years does he have, and is he willing to come to a place where he's going to have to rebuild? There's always things like that you got to take into account.
Well, it is, right, and I guess I meant to say that question a little bit more. I mean, I know I focused around the quarterback position when I said that before the trade deadline. What we need to know what we have, but I mean, you bringing up, the pieces, really made me, we need to know what we need to get rid of, I should say, before the trade deadline. I think you brought up the name that came to my mind was Landon Collins. He is not playing at an elite or all-pro level or at a Troy Apke level right now. The way I have not seen, I saw him break up one or two screen passes in the first game of the year, but since then I haven't seen him do nothing but get burned. Get burned. And worse than Apke. I think Apke chased down Cooper Kupp yesterday, a guy that wasn't even covering. Landon Collins got burned by Robert Woods, on a play. They said, he had two guys running patterns on that route. No, one guy was running an in. You don't sell out to the end if you have a guy running a streak. You always, duh. But I think Landon Collins, we pay him way too much money to be, way too much money to be performing the way he's performing. So that's someone that comes to mind that a team like, Seattle or someone like that might want to pick up.
The Browns. The Browns need secondary help.
Exactly. We need to shop that guy around. I think DeShazer Everett and Troy Apke would be just doing exactly the same as Landon Collins is right now. And again, it gets us more draft picks and to get better pieces in there. We talk about on defensive side of the ball, like you said, that front seven. We probably need a linebacker. I think our corners have been playing decent. Kendall Fuller has been playing, lights out. I don't think I'm seeing our corners. It's our safeties. It's our safety. We need some safety help, a linebacker help, some offensive line help, a wide receiver, and a tight end. You talk about a shopping list right there. If we can trade away some of these Landon Collins and get something there, fine. If not, we got to look towards the draft and free agency in the offseason. But you're exactly right. If we're not built to win right now, we got to get rid of the pieces that are holding us down to be able to build to win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Addition by subtraction. I think that's a great point, and not a point that a lot of people are willing to consider or think about. But I think that's extremely smart and forward thinking. That's exactly what we have to do. And we know Daniel Snyder's not afraid to cut a check to anybody. And now that we have what seems like a pretty sustainable and trustworthy and a coaching staff that is held in high regard, I think it could be a destination, but I think the first and foremost, we do have to shore up that quarterback situation. And then once that happens, then maybe we can start seeing some free agents come our way. We have to draft better. We've been killing it on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, we hit a home run with Terry McLaurin.
Real quick, I just want to say one thing. I said draft DK Metcalf, and you said not to.
Yeah, that guy might be a top five. That guy might be a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Right?
That guy might be the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. I don't know who's bigger, faster, and stronger, and just like they said in the end of the game last night, that wanted the ball more in that position and a 4th down play than him. All I can think about is this guy can't run cones. Is that what it was? He couldn't run cone drills.
Yeah, he was straight line speed only.
I'll tell you what, that slant looked like he could probably run some agility drills last night. Anyway, back to your point there. But yes, we do need to find DK Metcalf, someone like that. We could have had the first round. We could have had the second round even. I think that year. And I think that year was our. Who was?
No, I think he was the first pick. Oh no, actually, yeah, he was in the 40s. He was in the 40s of the second round. Yeah, he might have been the last pick of the second round.
Okay, we didn't have. Our second round pick because we got Montez and Dwayne in the first. So right. I wanted him instead of the Montez Sweat, which yesterday Montez with that sack on Jared Goff, that got me out of my seat. That's why I can't really say that. Anyway, I'm sorry for
so yes, last pick of the second round, 64th overall. Yeah, I mean,
what a phenom. I mean, what a phenom he is.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
I saw Eagles fans posting, "Oh, we drafted Arcega Whiteside instead of DK."
Yeah, we didn't have that. We didn't have that pick, but yes, they did. They did take Arcega Whiteside, and then the Colts took Paris Campbell. Cardinals took Andy Isabella, all before DK Metcalf. That hurts. I mean, that's like the Mike Thomas trade, though. Or excuse me, the Mike Thomas draft, where a bunch of like 3 or 4 wide receivers went before him, and then he ends up being the star. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a ton of pieces. We're a little over the quarter point, obviously, week 5. I think we know what we have and what we don't have, and what we don't have is a lot more than what we do have. But back to your point about maybe trading away a couple of these pieces, I think Landon Collins is a great trade piece that we can get to. I mean, shoot, we can even send him down here to Dallas. They need a ton of secondary help. It'd be a little weird. I don't know how he'd feel about playing for the Cowboys after playing for Washington
and the Giants.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did play for the Giants. Yeah, I mean, well then shoot, might as well. He's a
whore. He's a whore. Yeah, man, he'll play for anybody.
But there's plenty of teams right now that do need secondary help, and I think you mentioned the Seahawks. They're one that definitely does, especially with Jamal Adams being out. Yeah, I don't know. I think fans need to realize and remember we are rebuilding. This is a young team. We're not built to win right now, and it is what it is. And that's just, we got to get used to this for the next year or two. It seems like every 5 years we're rebuilding, but when you can't put the right people in place, and it starts at the top with Dan Snyder, this is what you're going to get.
Exactly what you're going to get, and you need to have success from the pieces as they come in. And that's the thing. When we're rebuilding, we haven't had a piece that's coming. We know we have a Brandon Scherf over here that does really well. We have a Ryan Kerrigan that's been holding it down there for a while. And, what other pieces have you been able to keep during this rebuilding process? Yeah. Nothing. It's been a huge turnover in players. And, when that equals, exactly the kind of record we've had over the last couple of years. And, not to mention, who wants to come play for us? Which free agents want to come sign here? We offered Amari Cooper $10 million more than the Cowboys. And he's like, nope, I'd rather stay with a quarterback that I know is going to give me the ball, And so until you can prove that, in the NFL that you actually are going in the right direction, it's going to be a tough rebuild process.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, and you're right. Yeah, as you are rebuilding, you got to get some production out of the parts you're bringing in. I know we didn't touch much on the game. I mean, it is what it is. What I say last week on Friday, we got to make sure that Robert Woods doesn't burn us for a big one. And what did he do? He took a 56-yard pass to the house. We kept Cooper Kupp at bay, only 5 catches, 66 yards. Go figure. Gerald Everett goes off four catches for 90 yards. Three pass plays over 40 yards. That went to Gerald Everett, Robert Woods, and then Cooper Kupp caught a 49-yard pass. So obviously, again, our secondary not great. The rushing attack wasn't. I mean, they got 129 rushes on us with 3 different running backs. So defense, it's not great right now. But I think kind of what we expected. I thought it was going to be a little more competitive again, like I said. But when you're rotating in quarterbacks like that, and one of them is on his back 6 times, getting sacked with the ball, it's going to be tough to do. But we're on to it next week.
Not to mention a left. I was gonna say not to mention a left guard with a .2 point Pro Football Focus grade this week.
Yeah, he was a human turnstile over there. That was not great. A lot of lookout blocks where the ball is snapped and he just turns around, look out, because that defender's coming. So so we're on to New York next week. This weekend, I'll actually be down in Austin this weekend. So we'll probably catch that game together, get to watch it. But I mean, not much else to say. It was a tough week, a lot of turmoil, a lot of news and notes going on around the organization, but you gotta stay the path and see what happens. Hopefully we can get something, something cooking, maybe, like I said, just be competitive.
Yeah, we're in a state of wonder and just kind of kind of watching the updates and whatnot to see where our team is falling, listening to the press conferences each day, and hopefully by Friday, before we're previewing this Giants game, we're gonna have a lot better description about where our team is and what Dwayne Haskins' status is with the team, and knowing that type of stuff, we'll be able to really tell where the mentality of the team is, because they might be just in just much bewilderment as we are as fans right now. So who knows where their head's at.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get a win against the Giants. I mean, everyone's beating up on them. Got to get a win against them. I think our defense is better than the Cowboys to where we can do that. But until Friday, like, rate, subscribe, review on Apple iTunes. Hit the subscription button. Ring that notifications bell on YouTube. And until Friday, we will see y'all then. Take care.
Bye-bye.